Okay, it's October 15th. I'm hunting now in the evening. It's been pretty windy this last week, so I haven't came out too much. I did come out this morning, and I seen a couple does, and I did see one buck when I was walking back to the pickup, but he was far enough away I didn't have time to get my binoculars up before he went into the trees, so I'm not sure what he was. It's still pretty windy out, but I'm gonna give it a shot anyways. We'll see what happens. As the sun started to set and my evening hunt coming to an end, there was still no sign of the shed buck or any deer at all. Not even one doe or fawn had came by the food plot. The only thing that had went by was 4 or 5 different raccoons, including this one in the video right now, and one lone turkey that was heading to the roost. Now there was still a little bit of time left before dark, so you never know what will happen. A deer could show up at any moment, and it could very well be the shed buck, the buck that I am going after in these hunts. So only time will tell, and I had to just sit there and wait in hopes that a deer would come by eventually before it was completely dark. And sure enough, finally at last light, a doe came down the trail and entered the food plot. She worked her way across the food plot, eating on the plot a little bit, and Mr. Raccoon, he saw the doe coming in and thought she was getting a little bit too close, and he didn't like that, so he took off and headed back to the trees where he came from originally. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm glad that I finally had seen a deer on this hunt. After all, that is why I was coming out to start with, was for deer hunting. But this doe had caught a whiff of my scent, so she just hung around the bottom of my tree stand, trying to smell and figure out who I was or what I was doing there. So instead of just feeding on the food plot for a while and walking off, she hung out around the bottom of my stand until it got pitch dark out. And I was really just hoping that she would move on so I could go home at this point, because it was past shooting light and I wouldn't have been able to shoot anything anyways, and I was just ready to go home.